Free, free Sheikh al-Nimr.
The global campaign denouncing the recent death sentence given to prominent cleric Sheikh al-Nimr hit Sydney today as a group of human rights activists called for an end to the long-standing al-Saud monarchy.
This Saudi regime is sentencing someone to death over freedom of speech, over having peaceful protests, which thousands of people have. No doubt we all know this isn't an issue of having said something at a protest. It's being a victim to the regime.
The peaceful protesters, who were largely Muslim, said that the defense of Nimr was not because he is also a Muslim.
I'm here for the same reason everybody else is. We're here to stand up against injustice and stand up against oppression. And that doesn't have to be on an Islamic basis, that's just on a humanity basis. So it's pretty much why we're the reason why we're here. We all just want to kind of come together, no matter what faith you're from, no matter what culture you're from. We can all empathise and sympathise with someone who's been wrongfully sentenced for freedom of speech.
Saudi prosecutors charged Sheikh al-Nimr with disobeying the ruler, inciting sectarian strife, and encouraging and leading demonstrations. Amnesty International have slammed the so-called justice process, saying that Nimr was not allowed to have his lawyer present in some hearings and eyewitnesses were not called for court.
We're very privileged in Australia that the death penalty doesn't exist for crimes, and I think that we need to, as Australians and as people, speak up against it and hopefully reach out to these other countries that still have this inhumane penalty, and to let them know that the world doesn't agree with this penalty, especially for someone who's just demanded their human rights.
Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott has been quick to talk tough against leaders such as Vladimir Putin.
Look, I'm going to shirt front Mr. Putin. You bet you are. You bet I am.
However, he and many other Western governments have remained silent of the Saudi monarchy's brutal misuse of power.
Saudi Arabia provides the US with oil and Australia is a friend of the US. Going against your friend isn't beneficial to Australia or the Australian government, and that is why the Australian government does not speak out against these atrocities.
Sheikh al-Nimr is one of 5 million Shia Muslims in a majority Sunni 29 million population. With the day of Ashura approaching, Muslims around the world are looking to the sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam for guidance in this volatile time.
نحن على امتداد 100 عام نعيش ظلم وجور وخوف وترهيب. منذ اللحظة الأولى تولد فيها تحاط بالخوف والترهيب والمطاردة والتنكيل. ولدنا وأجواء الترهيب، حتى الجدران كنا نخشاها، حتى الجدران ما ندري ما نعرف من ترهيب والظلم والجور اللي كان يقع علينا في هذه البلد. أنا عمري 50 عام أكثر، نصف قرن، منذ ولادتي إلى يومي هذا ما شعرت بأمن ولا أمان في هذه البلد منذ نعومة الأظفار، لأن أنت متهم على كل حال في كل مكان ومهدد في كل لحظة. وهذا ما صرح به مدير المباحث لي شخصيا حينما اعتقلت، قال أنتم الشعب كلكم لازم تقتلون. هذا منطقهم كلكم. مدير المباحث في المنطقة الشرقية نفسه.
The unwavering courage of al-Nimr appears to reflect that of the Prophet Muhammad's grandson, as he has said, "Either we live on this land as free men, or we die and be buried in it as pious men."
If one individual who truly believes in Ahlul Bayt and represents Ahlul Bayt, not through preaching isn't exactly, I could preach and then turn my back and be a completely different person. But the thing is, when I'm being represented as myself, wearing this scarf, people are looking at me like I'm a representative of Islam. And it's not about me talking, it's the way I present myself. And my manners, my akhlaq, my morals, the way I treat people, that's what matters. And how I react to injustice, like Sheikh al-Nimr. If the minority, they know the truth, they don't stand up, no one will. If people don't say anything, well, tyranny is going to constantly happen.
أقصى ما تفعلون هو الموت. مرحبا بالشهادة في سبيل الله. لن تنتهي الحياة بموت الإنسان، تبدأ الحياة الحقيقية بموته. إما نعيش على هذه الأرض أحرار أو نموت في باطنها أبرار، لا خيار لنا غير ذلك.
Reporting for arifkhanmedia.